Frito Lay continues to be under the organic program and is still the oldest, largest organic project in the world that we know of. It's 300 acres. One thing about it that has been successful is the trees on the property. We've planted about 4,000 trees on that property, and we've removed about 2,000. And the reason for the removals were not that they necessarily were bad trees. They were just in the wrong place, in old fence lines, and didn't work with the concept. This is the best way to show people that, one, you can do an organic program on a very large scale, and two, you can plant trees in solid rock, because everything you see there was planted and is planted in solid white limestone rock. There's bed preparation for the flowers, but all the trees and the big plants are planted in basically no soil at all. I love big special trees, and I'm going to show you several here, but one of the most special trees is out there. These bald cypress that are in this entry court area, there's one of them that'll still be green in December. And we couldn't figure it out for a while, and we finally did, and what it is a Montezuma cypress. It's not a bald cypress. And for years, everybody's been saying that Montezuma cypress won't grow up here. Those are the ones you see down in San Antonio, along the river walk and in some of the other areas. But it appears, especially under an organic program, to do very well here. The courtyard is totally artificial too. All of the trees in there are planted on top of concrete because all the drainage goes under the building. And that's the one place where we have to change the trees out from time to time. About every 15 years, we'll probably be changing most of the trees in that courtyard. But it still looks good, looks natural. The tree that's doing the best in there right now that was a surprise is a little leaf linden. Sabre Corporation is a big deal because it was the first one of the projects that was done under the LEAD program, which is a national program. It stands for Leadership in Energy and Environmental Design. And it's under the National Green Building Council program. And that primarily has to do with windows that are double paned, insulation, better insulation, light fixtures that don't bother you, carpet and paint that doesn't outgas, all those kinds of things. Recycling your wastewater. We were able to get the organic program put into the LEAD program as a part of it. It counts as one point in their program, and that's a national situation now. So you're going to see more corporate headquarters going organic because there's a benefit to them other than just being an environmental project. They have found out on this project, for example, that the costs are exactly the same as if they were doing it under a chemical program. Well, that's huge because one of the big issues, one of the big arguments is that organics cost too much money. Well, this company that's doing this maintenance, Matheny, they actually looked at the costs, and they got it down to what it costs per square foot, and it's almost identical. Plus, it gets less costly every year. And that's the thing that is really now catching the attention of the management company of Sabre, who's also the management company, it looks like, for several other big corporate headquarters. And so I think we're on the verge of a whole bunch of these big corporate headquarters going organic, which is a really big deal. This is the other Sabre project. It used to be IBM, and Sabre took it over. It was working so well on the new project that they converted this project to a total organic program as well. Well, they hired me as a consultant to write the organic specifications, and in the process of it, I told them that those sycamore trees should not be replaced. A lot of them were dying, and I said, let's change over to some other tree, and they listened, and they planted red oaks. Those are young red oaks that have just been planted, and they're doing very well. This is Radio Shack's national headquarters over in Fort Worth. Well, Radio Shack is a big project. It's 38 acres downtown Fort Worth. These trees that existed on the property were 75 years to 100 years old. Some of them were 5 feet in the ground. That was that there's big chunks of white limestone rock were put around the trunk as the fill was done. And that apparently helped keep those trees alive by aerating just a little bit, enough to keep the trees alive. It was dramatic, though, that some of those trees were high. You could see the big flare above the ground, and they were growing dramatically better in a darker green than the ones that were buried. This whole hillside, they ended up basically removing, and it was really interesting. The roots went down and went out somewhere, but they didn't stay in this area very much, so we were able to lower the grade and not have to build retaining walls around those trees. Of all those trees that we worked around, it looks like 100% of them are going to make it. Tierra Verde is still doing well. In fact, I've told you about Tierra Verde before. It's the only organic golf course that we know about. It's in Arlington, and it is a beautiful golf course. It is, as far as we can tell, the only 100% organic project in the country. There may be some in Scotland or Ireland where they just don't do anything other than mow, but in this country it seems to be the only one.